What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another late night, another epic. We are going to be watching another Western. And this one is one that I have watched quite a long time ago, but it's ripe for a rewatch. And it was brought up when we, in the comment section of, High Plains Drifter, that it was sort of in that vein. We're going to be watching High Noon. From my memory, I know this has an amazing third act because it's all time-based contingent. So excited to get to revisit this one. And if you have watched it, we'll watch it together. If not, I'm glad this is your first time seeing it. But yeah, without any further delay, we're going to get into the film. Big Willie is absent again. I'm not so sure what's up with him. But either way, we're getting into the film because, Captain, we are a go. There's always the famous shot of, these bunch of strangers coming into a town and everybody scared of them.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let us begin. And will the bride and groom kindly step forward?
That was a fantastic shot through the window, going to the priest.
What's the matter?
Thought I saw Ben Miller.
Oh, he's down Texas somewhere.
I know. Looked like Pearson Colby, too. Oh, it couldn't be, though.
Okay, so their reputation precedes them. And might I add, the song in the beginning, the ballad, it was perfect to set up, what is going to happen, the bittersweet moment, and the arrival of this gang of three coming into the town.
I can't speak for the rest of you men, but I claim an ancient privilege.
What a ceremony to mark the beginning of, terror or like a feeling of dread within the town that is boiling as these three come into town.
This town will be safe till tomorrow.
You win. But don't ever marry a Quaker. She'll have you running a store.
I can't picture you doing that, Will.
I can.
It's all in the dialogue. Everything will be safe until tomorrow.
Get out of this town this very minute.
Come on, let's get him going.
Oh, never mind that now. We'll get going and don't stop till you get the clocks burning.
But what is it, Mr. Howard?
Just in his time when he gets married, and it's time to go, suddenly trouble will arrive.
You don't suppose Kane's scared of those three gunnies? Well, you didn't see him. I never saw him whip a horse that way.
Funny how he can decipher just by the speed of the horse the immediate danger. What a beautiful shot, just encompassing them departing from danger. The horses, everything seems to be going good for them, even with the score suggesting it. It's funny that he's going back with her. But, I mean, they don't really have a choice, do they?
How many coffins we got? 2. We're gonna need at least 2 more no matter how you figure. You better get busy, Fred.
Wow. Well, just like High Plains Roller, they needed 4 coffins.
We've got an hour.
What's an hour?
Oh, we could
What's
reach...
100 miles? We'd never be able to keep that store, Amy. They'd come after us and we'd have to run again as long as we live.
No, we wouldn't. Not if they didn't know where to find us.
You better stand your ground instead of running. That's the spirit.
You're asking me to wait an hour to find out if I'm going to be a wife or a widow. I say it's too long to wait. I won't do it.
Amy.
Wow, powerful line.
I'll be on that train when it leaves here.
I've got to stay.
Well, that's one solemn duty to serve and protect.
Don't you remember when he sat in that chair and said, "You'll never hang me, I'll come back. I'll kill you, Will Kane. I swear it, I'll kill you."
That's always the conundrum of passing judgment at the time is what happens when they are released.
Look, this is just a dirty little village in the middle of nowhere. Nothing that happens here is really important. Now get out.
There isn't time.
What a way to... That's no motivation to want to protect and serve. Get out. It's a dirty little town.
Haven't got time, Harv.
Okay. Then let's get down to business. You want me to stick? You put the word in for me like I said.
Sure, I want you to stick, but I'm not buying it. It's got to be up to you.
What a contention.
Didn't you want me to know? Hey. Who did the walking out anyway? You or him?
Oh, what sticky business.
You're going to talk different when Frank Miller gets here. You might want somebody around you then when you try and explain to him about Kane.
I can take care of myself.
Sure. Only from what I've heard, you might not be so pretty when he gets through with you.
It's interesting. It's just looming over the head as the time passes.
Now me, I wouldn't leave this town at noon for all the tea in China. No, sir, it's going to be quite a sight to see.
Oh, he's into something else. He's into the thrill of the fight, I guess.
How many men you got lined up?
None yet.
See the smile completely vanish from his face.
You've been real decent to me right along. And I want you to know that I've been honest with you.
I know you have, Mr. Weaver. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Mrs. Ramirez.
What an interesting dynamic everybody has with her.
You want me to ask Frank to let you go? You want me to beg for you? Well, I would not do it. I would not lift a finger for you.
All this background knowledge is coming out at the squeezing of time.
If you're smart, you will get out too.
I can't.
I know.
Oh, all hell is gonna break loose when Frank comes.
One thing, this place was always busy when Frank Miller was around. I'm not the only one. There's plenty people around here think he's got a comeuppance coming. You asked me, ma'am, so I'm telling you.
Such a complicated relationship dynamic. You have Ramirez with Kane, with Frank, the loss of business, the hating of one another, the way he had like his own short conversation. You can find the room? Look at the reception of when he comes back. He has only so much time to give out the stars. He needs guns around him.
I'll give you odds. Kane's dead 5 minutes after Frank gets off the train.
That's not much time.
That's all Frank'll need because I...
What a shot. You have the clock, you have Kane, you have the barman.
We all know what Miller's like. That's why I'm here. How about it?
Boy, where could he get help? Time is ticking. He has the best interests of the town at his heart, so where does he get the help?
Mildred, he's coming. Now you do like I told you. I'm not home. Don't let him in. No matter what he says, I'm not home.
It's almost like they're afraid to be called for on duty.
Do you want me to get killed? Do you want to be a widow? Is that what you want?
No, Sam. No.
What a way to sort of justify it. It makes sense because that's what Mrs. Kane said as well. But at the same time, do they want to live under the tyranny of Frank Miller?
You have big, broad shoulders, but he is a man. It takes more than big, broad shoulders to make a man, Harvey. And you have a long way to go.
Wow!
Kane will be a dead man in half an hour, and nobody is going to do anything about it. And when he dies, this town dies too. I can feel it.
It's like she can already foreshadow the events happening. You know, there will be casualties. Somebody will die.
You don't come to this church very often, Marshal. And when you got married today, you didn't see fit to be married here. What could be so important to bring you here now?
Well, he did say when he was with Miss Kane, you know, according to your religion, I know this is not, like a it's not approved. So there's that even dynamic.
And ain't it true there's personal trouble between him and Miller?
Why should they get into trouble with personal business?
Now, the first time there's any trouble, we're supposed to take care of it ourselves. Well, what have we been paying for all this time? I say we're not peace officers. This ain't our job.
Well, that's probably the most appropriate argument.
Why didn't you put them in jail where they ought to be? Then we'd only have Miller to worry about instead of the four of them.
Well, there is no cause.
How do we know Miller's on that train anyway?
Oh, we can be pretty sure he's on it. Time's getting short.
Well, good point, but they
Parson.
did have the letter that came in at the very beginning.
But if you're asking me to tell my people to go out and kill, and maybe get themselves killed, I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry.
Well, yes, that is one perspective, but then again, you look at the Old Testament and then you look at all the times God gave victory to certain kings over enemies by overtaking them.
Tomorrow we'll have a new marshal. And if we can all agree here to offer him our services, I think we can handle anything that comes along.
Yeah, but then, in that case, you still have Frank Miller within the town, and that does not really solve the root of not the decay, but the evil that would reside there.
Why don't you put that thing away?
Not the harmonica.
You're dead, Kane.
Isn't that something else? Everybody's again foreshadowing. Kane will die. He said, there is going to be somebody hurt, and it's not going to be good. And you can only imagine how much weight is that on his mind.
Yeah, all my life. It's a great life. You risk your skin catching killers, and the juries turn them loose so they can come back and shoot at you again.
What's so good about it?
Wind up dying all alone on some dirty street. For what? For nothing. For a tin star.
It's all vanity. And people don't even, would they even defend you?
Maybe because down deep they don't care. They just don't care.
What'll I do, Mark?
Well, that's the sentiment. Best thing was, don't come back.
No, I couldn't do nothing for you. You'd be worried about me. You'd get yourself killed worrying about me. It's too one-sided like it is.
At every which point, he's looking for help. He can't get it. And people are hiding.
I've been trying to understand why he wouldn't go with me, and now all I can think of is that it's got to be because of you.
What do you want from me?
Let him go. He still has a chance. Let him go.
What a triangle. It's more than a triangle, actually. It's even bigger than that.
I don't care who's right or who's wrong. There's got to be some better way for people to live.
Civilized way to dispute.
Why don't you wait here?
Well, right there, I guess, Helen sort of sympathized with her. And she, as well, has her own perspective beyond, the religious aspect. She has a personal connection with law enforcement and law and order and guns.
Nothing. Only takes a smart man to know when to back away.
They're just egging him on to go and actually help.
You go a long way before he tires. That's what you were thinking, wasn't it?
Kinda.
You scared?
I guess so.
Wow. How? That takes something to admit that.
You think about a lot of things when you're tired. But I can't do it.
Why?
I don't know.
Get on that horse, Will.
Something in him won't just let up. Well, he has broad shoulders, but Kane is a man. And this is probably the last thing he needs just before Frank Miller comes. And it's a one man who could have helped him down on the ground.
If Kane was my man, I never leave him like this. I'd get a gun. I'd fight.
Why don't you?
He is not my man.
Well, there's that too, and there's her relationship with Frank Miller. I think the going theme of "Don't forsake me, oh my darling" is a good, reminder of, his sentiment, how he feels about this, the impending doom that's coming his way. Revenge is coming his way. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't remember it correctly, but I think Mrs. Kane does something by the end.
I'm sure glad you're here.
I couldn't figure out what was keeping you. Time's getting pretty short.
Sure is.
But one of the other boys gonna get here. We gotta make plans.
The other boys?
Well, the prisoner, whoever's in the prison.
I volunteered. You know I did. You didn't have to come to me. I was ready. Sure, I'm ready now. But
that is true.
this is just plain committing suicide. And for what? Why me? I'm no lawman. I just live here. I got nothing personal against nobody. I got no stake in this.
Exactly. It's suicide.
Go on home, Herb.
I mean, how can you? There's only so much you can ask, right? Until it makes sense to let them go.
Please, Marshal.
Well, you're big for your age, all right, but no, go on, get out of here.
Well, first there was 19 and a 14-year-old dying in a gunfight. Oh boy, he would never forgive himself. Look at that. Each one of them even has like 2 guns. He has 2 guns. Clearly outnumbered. Hey, living on borrowed time, the clock tick faster. Such good editing. It all even goes to the cadence of the clock swing. You go to everybody and their conundrum with wanting to help. They know what's going to happen when Frank Miller comes. It's not going to be all roses and peaches. It's, tyranny is coming. And they can only expect or hope to muster it in themselves to want to help, to want to defend the town. Great shot. I think another thing which is brilliant is, first the train. We have not even seen Frank Miller. We have only heard about him. It's almost like the Jaws effect, not even having seen him and seen the whole town's, reaction to, oh, he's coming. He is already prepared.
You don't happen to know if the saloon's open, do you, Will?
I said go home, Charlie.
Yes, sir.
Well, and there I thought he could have helped him. I don't even remember, but he's too much. He cannot take it. So quiet, so empty, yet the eyeballs are watching through the window. And there you can see Helen's plea. Please, that's your man. Go take a gun and fight with him. What a great shot, man. So perfectly composed.
Everything ready?
Sure, just the way you want it, Frank.
Yeah, we got your gun over here.
Let's get started then.
I love that we start with the back of his head. We don't even get a face shot. That's all that was needed, non-verbal looks. Oh man. What a good shot. You go from this close up all the way to a bird's eye view just to see the time has come, an empty town, and he's all there by himself. Another very well composed shot. Very well composed. Within the shelter, he sees the shadowy figures come into detail as they come closer and closer. I guess it's sort of her instinct because of the passing of her, her father and her brother, to see if, she wouldn't want to wait to know she's a widow. I guess that just came to mind. Like, she has to be there. Well, the gun is there now. It's almost like he pigeonholed himself now. He's up in like a barn. Hey, the patience worked out. Well, now he's sort of forced to come out. Well, that's smart. It almost provides him like a sort of disguise, or distraction, while they're all going. Oh, she read the letter in the case of his death. Again, that frame, quick frame, the gun was there next to her. Oh, guess who shot him? The sacrifice. There we go. I don't remember him doing it all by himself. I remember somebody coming to help, but she certainly took Helen's advice.
You made that promise when we wed. Do not fall.
Oh, he's gonna pass by the marshal badge.
Although you're grieving, I can't be leaving until I shoot Frank Miller dead.
And the song says it all, right? And the interesting thing is, they were friends of Frank Miller in the saloon. So there's almost nothing to, be happy about for this town. It's a mixed town. Thoughts? Well, certainly a film that, it has the same thing that Fantastic Voyage has going for it, right? Because it's time-based. There's a clear, third act that we can anticipate, and the lead up to it just continues to boil and boil and boil at every no. You just feel the case is getting worse for Kane, and you understand everybody's perspective. It's not like it's out of the blue that they're saying no. And then to add on to it, you have everybody's, separate dynamic of relationships between Helen and Frank, between Helen and Kane, between, Mrs. Kane having only been married an hour, to her whole interaction with Helen, and, the hotel innkeeper and his whole thing with not liking Kane. It's such a not a complex, but an intricate, relationship dynamic that makes the film that much more interesting, more than just a gun shootout in the end, because there's stakes. We understand what this means Kane, and why it's so important that he actually had to stay, and why he had to come back, and why he had to gun down Frank Miller. Otherwise, he will always be on the run. There will never be any rest. And it was only till then, because everybody to their own, well, to an understandable extent, was looking out for themselves, whether it was looking out for the town, whether it was looking out for the saloon, whether it was looking out for their family, for their livelihood, looking out for a new job, to accommodate themselves, to accommodate, not having to have a fight to begin with. What is right, what is wrong? What Mrs. Kane did, was it right or wrong in the eyes of the Lord? And the like what the church could have done, and the pastor. So it like all of that, it's beyond the fight at the end. There's films that have a better ending fight, like Shootout. It's not really the climax is him throwing down that marshal badge, for me at least, and having both of them stay alive, and that letter in the marshal's office that he wrote being sort of his death to the town, if that makes any sense. He's dead to the town. There's no more going to be a Will Kane. He's done his piece. He has given his piece. That people have had, their thoughts about him. He has had their thoughts about them, except he always did his job to the best of his ability, to where, even the woman, when she was in the church, she was saying, how do you guys remember when we could walk out in broad daylight, where we could walk with the children? And Will Kane did that. He kept the town, safe. He kept it running, except some people just didn't like that. They preferred when their pockets were full. So it's an interesting dynamic. I don't remember a lot of it, so this really refreshed me. But if I got anything wrong, guys, do say so. If you have any personal experience with the film, I would love to read about it. But yeah, Westerns are so enjoyable because they're all encompassing, and I can sort of see a lot of borrowed themes in High Plains Drifter. So I like that. The comment was made within that section. That this one and one of the Dollars films were a huge inspiration to High Plains Drifter, and so I like that. Gary Cooper really commands the screen, and showing a vulnerable side of a marshal more than just a tough man ready to lose his life. It showed the humanity behind the badge. But yeah, until the next picture, until the next whatever it is, whether sci-fi, western, whatever it may be, I hope you enjoy cinema and continue to stay blessed. And until next time, keep safe until high noon.
What's up, you cinephiles? Thank you very much for making it to the very end. Me and Big Willie don't take that for granted. We really appreciate you. Now, if you would like to show your support to us, you know what you can do up here. You can smash that button, really just smash it. And if you would like to check out some more content, they're all curated by days up over here and playlists. So, you know what? We hope you're having a great day. Don't crumble and just continue to smile and be a good bastion of cinema.